Are you as dumb as me? Probably not, because I'm the most smartest. That's why I decided, not them, me, to use Anchor.fm for our podcast. It's been the most easiest way for us to do our thing.
You vid.
Also, it's free, and we've established that I'm broke, right? Oh, no? Well, I am. And I bet you are too if you're thinking about starting a podcast. I bet you're so broke that you don't even have a custom-built home studio.
With your broke ass.
Doesn't matter, because Anchor FM works right off your phone or your computer. That's right. I know what you're thinking. Crazy Uber Ramblings podcast that you've been mulling around in your head for a little while now. It's possible.
Hey, guys, so where are we going today, guys?
Hey, can we go to that place, Pulaski, Tennessee, where the birthplace of,
No. Could you please exit my vehicle, sir? Thank you.
And something amazing like that will be immediately put out everywhere. Not only the biggies, but places you don't even know exist. Breaker, Overcast, Radio Public. What even are
fuck
those?
is that?
I don't know. Now, let's talk money. I knew that'd get your attention. You can make money with no minimum listenership, right? So let's think about Uncle Jimmy Ray.
I love it.
He loves it so much that Crazy Uber Ramblings, he starts paying a monthly subscription, and companies start paying you to talk about their shit. Now you're rolling in it. So are you the smartest and want to use a site that has all you need in one place? Then you should use Anchor.fm. That's ANCHOR.FM. Come on, dummy. Do it.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Friends, Facts, and Fiction. As always, this episode is made possible by our local convenience stores, the misappropriation of history, and you. And now to your hosts, Justin Hammonds, Grant Bramlett, and Drew Shellnut.
What's up? What's happening, world? This is the first episode of a podcast called Friends, Facts, and Fiction. I'm Justin Hammonds, and I'm looking right now at Drew Shellnut.
What's up?
And a fly-ass shirt. And my homie Grant Bramlett in a striped shirt.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite t-shirts.
Boom. There it is. And today, guys, initially we're going to talk about old injuries that happened in our childhood and, bring up some old stories so I can get to know us a little bit on this first episode.
Right.
But as of yesterday in Nashville, there was a complete protest and riot throughout the whole country. But we're coming from Nashville, so there was a riot in Nashville downtown, and it got pretty serious. I feel like there's a lot of things we need to talk about in that today.
Yeah, that's
a present injury
for sure
to our society that keeps fucking coming back again and again, and it's called racism and blatant fucking disregard of a certain type of people in this country, which I happen to be one of. Open discussion on that, and then we'll get to the main story, which is bats, cats, and rats.
Well, something that really truly drives me crazy about this whole thing is that, I've probably done this on purpose, right? I've developed my own little bubble, right?
Yeah,
I found a city that I liked a lot that's still in the Southeast because I'm comfortable in the Southeast. That's where I was born and raised.
Yeah. It's a home territory, bro.
That mentality of you're driving through your own neighborhood and somebody's walking their dog or they're pushing a baby carriage or some shit like that. You just wave through the car.
That Southern vibe.
They wave back at you, right? Like you talk about all these Northerners that move down to Nashville because it's cheaper down here and people are nice down here, and that's kind of the point, right?
And some of that niceness is hidden racism.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's true, but in general,
Facts.
like speaking about the Southeast, and we're in the middle of Tennessee, but we're in this little blue bubble, and personally, I feel like I've kind of forgotten about racism in the sense that I don't have any at all, and I feel the personal fortune of not being around racists, and it extends to the point where I forget that it's systemically put into our criminal justice system, into our judicial system.
Oh yeah, bro,
like
definitely.
And so you see the shit that's coming around in the news right now, and as y'all both know, I'm the least plugged in person, so I'm not going to be the one to talk about what's actually going on.
Yeah, you didn't even know the shit
news.
was going down yesterday, bro. Like, what the shit was burning down literally, and my boy was like, "Something's happening in Nashville tonight, bro. Everything's hhappening in Nashville."
45 minutes away. I was 45 minutes away at the time, working on something else.
Yeah, whatever. No, man. I was at work, just like looking at it on the screen. Like, I wish I was down there, but if I was down there, I knew I would have got into some wild shit. There's my attitude towards it, because for me, it's like I support it fully, man. Like, the rage is pure. The rage is much fucking needed, to be honest. Like, you know what I mean? Like, something has to happen. And it has to happen some way, and there's no right or wrong way to do this. It just has to fucking happen.
Right.
And trying to do it systematically obviously has not worked in the past 50 years with black people getting into Congress, getting into Senate, getting into political positions, and shit's still not changing. Like,
it's not going to work systematically if the system doesn't work.
Exactly. Like, I mean, the system needs to be just fucking restarted, refreshed. The contract is null and void. You know what I'm saying? Like,
the system is too goddamn complicated. And like it's more.
Well, it's set up. It's set up for white supremacy to rule.
Yeah, where's this
set up for that?
Where's this fine print on the terms and agreement that I didn't see?
Right. Because that's not my system.
Yeah,
no, I don't want that system.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy, bro. Like, I am completely down with everything that's happening, to the riots, to the looting, to the protests. I mean, I'm for it all, to be honest. Yeah, I wish that it didn't have to come to this, but what else can we do to fucking say something for motherfuckers to realize that this is a real issue? You know what I mean? Like, and most of the time, some of these motherfuckers riots and shit are getting started by white people who are there because they feel like if they're not there, they look like racists, and they're not really for the cause. They're for their own personal fucking vanity. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's a whole nother mix of it too that got me a little fucked up in the head. But you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of fucking angles to it that people are not discussing. You know what I mean? And the fact that most of these cops are waiting for a day like this to where they can put on riot gear and fuck up people. Like, they're waiting on days like this. You know what I mean? Like, and they don't talk about that side of it either, where like they are systematically trained. You know what I mean? To think that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that stalk and pray rather than protect and serve, and that shit fucking disgusted me, bro.
Nice,
but
it's true though.
That's just real. That's how
I mean, something that's absolutely. I do need to just kind of go on a little mini rant about something in the sense that, going into all this, I know that this is not right. The way that things have been handled for a long, long time is incorrect. And the fact that it's gotten to this point, the Black Lives Matter movement, which is incredibly important, it's something that I agree with massively. I think it's wonderful that people are like actually coming out, speaking up.
Nah, bro. All lives matter, kid.
The best of their thing. But that is actually something I did want to hit on in the sense that
goddamn.
All lives do matter, and it's baffling to me.
It's like all cancers are cancer, but when it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, that motherfucker's gonna shine, ain't it? Sure, like, I mean, shit, all lives do matter, but when Black lives are the fucking most, unvalued lives, maybe we need to make that matter a little more. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck?
And anyway, I absolutely agree with that.
But go ahead, bro.
So there's like one of the reasons why I don't pay attention to social media, and you give me a lot of flack about that because I'm just don't know what's going on.
You gotta start talking about something a little bit, my guy.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, oh, come on, seriously, you haven't heard about this? This has been going on for 2 weeks. What the fuck?
That's your whole
kind of a thing. But like, I don't give a shit about social media just because it skews information. It's inherently bad for you. But that's beside the point. If
conspiracies
with social media talking about the fact that apparently white supremacists are actually coming to these riots, or rather more so these peaceful protests, and are
inciting rage, if you will.
Inciting rage into it. Thank you, Drew. And actually turning these peaceful protests into actual riots.
Bro,
right?
There was Craigslist ads for crisis actors in Nashville yesterday.
See, that's some stuff I don't know about.
See, that's fucking crazy.
It's fucking wild, bro. Like, this is real life shit to where they open this stage up and they stand behind the curtains and control the lights. And motherfuckers ain't seeing that. And it's like, bro, like...
Right.
This is... This is all building up to my little mini rant that I feel like I need to have. In the sense that if that is true, if that shit is happening, we have white supremacists coming into Black Lives Matters rallies, if you will, right? And then they're making this turn into a protest, into a riot, assuming that that's going to cause a lot more unrest. Police are going to come out. The National Guard is going to be called, which has already happened. We've seen that happen in so many different cities.
They're mobilized across the country.
That is what they're thinking. And
the curfew is 8 o'clock tonight, bro.
Yeah, that's insane.
That shit's wild.
That's insane.
My thought process behind that is these dumbass, ignorant, backwoods motherfuckers are going to come in and make this shit happen.
Yeah.
Their end goal, I have to assume, is
to make black people look like violent motherfuckers.
No, a race war, I think, is what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
The thing is that it's 2020. And if these dumbass neo-Nazi pieces of shit think that they're going to actually incite a race war, say it happens. They expect me to pick their side because my skin looks like their skin.
No.
They're fucking idiots. Yeah, they're the stupidest fucking people that I've ever considered to be a part of this
What
society.
are you talking about, man? You're white.
Yeah. And that's something I find personally unfortunate. And something that I, hate the fact that systematically in the judicial system is fortunate, right? I get pulled over. You've been drinking tonight? I've had one or two. All right, be safe getting home.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Not cool.
I get pulled over and I get tackled to the ground on my own front lawn.
Which is something that you have video evidence
neck.
for.
Yeah, exactly.
And by the way, by the end of this video and this podcast, we are going to put that up on the YouTube page, on our Facebook page, because I want... if that's okay with
new
you.
information to me.
If that's okay with you.
I mean, I got to check with my lawyer first.
Yeah.
might be exposing it a little too, soon.
If we do need to wait for legal reasons, but I really
that
think
will be a pending
that's
thing, people. A pending.
Oh
thing.
yeah, right.
It's a good idea though, just for people to see, because I went through some shit like a month ago that was supremely fucked up, and it shouldn't have went the way that it went. But
not at all.
I'm a black dude that drives a Mercedes. So,
well, I mean, and even with what happened to me 2 nights ago,
exactly the way you it's wild,
to what
right?
happened to you is the exact opposite spectrum, and it is completely fucked.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, you're fine. Just go home.
Yeah, right.
It's like, bro, I'm already at home. Yeah, I got home safely.
Right.
You trailed me for at least a mile. Had no reason to pull me over until you see me about to go on my driveway. Then you hit your lights, and then you fucking tell me you get in the cuffs on while standing or on the ground. That's where you got to, from not even explaining why you pulled me over. Like, bro, like, this shit is crazy, and that's like the 3rd time I've been pulled over for no reason. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and it's simply because I'm black and I drive a fucking Mercedes sports car, bro. Like, no flex, but I drive a nice car and I'm black. Like, honestly, that's the only reason I get pulled over. You know what I mean? Like, either they think I'm moving drugs or they think I'm doing something criminal activity is happening. You know what I mean? That's their
or
initial
that's not your car.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, whose car is this type shit? Like, like even one of the cops was like, nice car you got. You were swerving a little bit back there. And I was like, well, my car's pretty low. And there's potholes everywhere in Nashville, my guy. What the hell? What's up? You know what I mean? Like, that's the first time I got pulled over.
Street.
Yeah, it's like that's the first time I got pulled over though. Like when I got that car, and I was like, bro, like this is some bullshit. Like,
East Trinity Lane is one of the most potholed streets.
Bro.
There is.
I mean, Jesus Christ,
mess your car up.
Yeah. I'm not trying to fuck up my 2-seater. You got me out here. Anyway, I'm gonna get up off that before I get pissed about that. But yeah, these times are crazy, man, and the world is on fucking fire. And the only way to extinguish it is with true justice and true systematic fucking change, which seems like a dream more than fucking reality. And it's disturbing and it's enraging. Like I mean, like, bro, if I was downtown yesterday when they was doing that fucking protest and the riot struck out, I would have been in some wild shit just off the rage that I have. That would have came out in group thought. When you're around a group of people that just start doing something and you have rage in you, it's just going to come out the way that it's going to come out. And it's nothing you can do in control that. We're fucking humans, man. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, it's fucking emotions are the hardest fucking thing to handle. You know what I mean? And belief is the strongest thing we have.
Heard that.
And if you believe in the shit, then you're going to be so shocked and fucking like into it. you're not going to be able to control, I'm going to break this window right now. There's no thought to it. It's like, this is happening, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck it. This is going down, you know?
Well, I mean, that works just as well as the systematic approach of racism.
Exactly.
It's the opposite end of the spectrum. And I mean, it's just like the video that we watched.
Trevor Noah?
Of Trevor Noah.
Let's give a nice little shout out to him, by the way, because I mean, he's sitting on his couch looking rougher than most other people.
Being a boss.
That are being pundits right now, you know.
He's actually quarantining.
Yeah, it seems like he's actually taking it seriously.
And what I say about that is the point that he brought up of like, you know, you feel so bad about watching these videos of people looting the targets and, you know,
burning shit down,
burning stuff down and everything. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And but on the opposite end of the spectrum,
the police have been doing that for years, burning shit down, looting black bodies, fucking like.
That's what I mean.
You know,
like when he said that, as a white person, that made my heart drop.
Yeah,
into
the reality of it, like
the pit of my
holy
stomach.
Shit! Like,
because like you can't.
I'm supposed to abide by social justice or like society's justice when I'm not getting society's justice. Like that makes no fucking sense. Right. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna flip it on his head and let's see what's up.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's just really difficult to live with. It's essentially what this whole episode will entail. It's really hard to deal with the disease of misinformation.
Yeah,
that's something that is systematically and contractually as a society going to tear this whole country apart.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's doing a damn good fucking job of it right now.
I mean, bro, that's how we got the fucking nutcase in office.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was misinformation. Through that whole process, bro. Let's not even get into that. Let's not even get into that.
That's another episode.
Let's go. Yeah, that's another episode. Let's get out of there. I just opened that door and I closed it. I peeped in the fridge and I closed the door, bro.
Yeah, them cookies is rotten.
Yeah. We're gonna let that chill. We're gonna let that chill. We'll come back to that later. We're not. It's the first episode, bro. Let's just graze over the top of our political views. Let's not get too deep. All right. But yeah, man, like. As we say, like this world is fucking on fire. Yeah. And the only thing to extinguish it is true fucking justice and true systematic reform and people actually fucking standing up for what is right.
Right.
And I mean, it really starts with white people, to be honest. Like you have white people have to police white people. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, you got to check your fucking, your friends. Like, you know what I mean? Because for us, it's like black people, it's like, what else can we do? Like we're prospering, we own businesses. We are entrepreneurs, we are millionaires, we are fathers, we are mothers, we are daughters, sons, cousins, uncles, aunts. Like you know what I mean? Like we are just good citizens, bro. Like
you're every aspect of American society.
Exactly. And it's like crazy, bro. We just want to fucking succeed and get a piece of the damn pie. Right. But somebody has to control what bigger slice we get every fucking time.
Every time.
And that's something I do not
understand. Like I mean, like it's been done. You know what I mean?
It's crazy. Let's not even talk about reparations. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck.
Yeah, Drew and I's potential ancestors. Drew and I's potential ancestors that I feel guilty about on a regular basis are the reason why African Americans are African Americans, right? They were brought over on the ships in order to, you know, plow the crops of the Southeast during that whole time.
Shit's wild, bro.
Well, now, African Americans are no longer. At this point in time, it's 2020. We need to take the Africa out of African Americans because your ancestors had no choice of being here. And by the time that you were born, Justin, and anyone else in our peer group that happens to be black, just doesn't have any more control over being here than I have, or Drew has, or any other white person in this country. So why is that a thing? Why is that?
And you know, the one thing for me is like people was like, why don't you just go back to Africa and all this? It's like, bro,
because you have no place there.
Yeah, like that's I'm so far separated from that.
Yeah,
like this is my home country. I mean, why can't I thrive to where I was born? Like,
well, Jesus, why don't I go back to Luxembourg?
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I don't know that language.
Exactly.
I don't even know. Is that German? I don't know.
So separated, bro.
I'm going back to Denmark.
The culture that's down there. the culture that's down there, I have no idea about it. You know what I mean? Like, I would be a baby again. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, bro, I'm a grown ass man in my country. I want to thrive here.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
your country is America.
Exactly.
My country is America. I mean, that's where we were born. That's where our parents were born.
We
that's
are
where our grandparents
Americans.
were born.
We are not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like
these different sects of society that are being proposed to us.
It's fucking crazy. And the main separation is the way that they do it. You know what I'm saying? Like Latino Americans, you know, like all that type of shit that they try to pull out. And it's like, you're causing separation just from the initial idea of the fucking title. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's where the division starts. And then you get a fuckhead like your boy in office that just wants to divide people.
Whose boy?
Whose boy? He looks more
again,
like an orange.
We circle back around to this dickhead. Anyway, let's boop, get up out of there. All right, I'm gonna get out of there. But yeah, man, that's how we feel about it. I mean, anybody else got any points they want to make on the protests, on Black Lives Mattering, and fucking like getting gunned down every goddamn day in the streets?
Well, not necessarily about that, but just about last night, as far as Nashville is concerned, or whatever. So I'm I worked a little gig down in Murfreesboro, which is about 45 minutes away from Nashville. I'm on my way back. My mom shoots me a text, and I'm not reading it because I'm in the car, you know. And then I swear 5 minutes go by, and she calls me, and so I, hit it on to my little headphone rig that I got to be able to talk to on the phone and talk to people or whatever while I'm driving. She says something about, Justin, you had a Facebook post of like the city might burn tonight or whatever. And
bro, I posted that like 5 minutes before they set that building on fire. Yeah. Some prophetic shit.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
hey, maybe don't do that anymore. Okay?
All right. Or don't control your society with your Facebook post. Oh, God. Anyway.
But either way, she gives me a call and is like, "Is everything okay? Oh, what's going on?" Just being a mom and all that kind of stuff. I was like, I don't know. I was 45 minutes away all today. I've was hearing about the riots going on in Atlanta, and of course Minneapolis has been terrible and all that kind of stuff.
Well, Cincinnati went down, Miami went down, Chicago went down,
Fulton County, Georgia,
LA, Georgia, bro. It was yesterday. It was fucking buckhole.
And when I turned the news on this morning, the only thing they were covering was Minneapolis.
Yeah,
and it's just like this.
Yeah,
I understand
it was happening in Hollywood,
hub,
Beverly Hills, and all that type of shit.
You guys need to be putting this out there that every city. I mean, there were marches across Alabama for this yesterday.
Bro, it was like, I think like what 30-something states.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy,
bro.
Crazy.
South Africa, London, like
sure.
Bro, this was worldwide shit yesterday, bro. And it speaks out to the fact that not only Americans are tired of this shit, the whole world is tired of this racist shit because it's happening all over the world.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like being locked into America and seeing our issues is one thing, but being fucking globally woke is a fucking thing that you all should be on. Well, we all are trying to be on.
And that's the thing.
It's happening everywhere, bro.
Yeah. Most of the developed post-industrial nations are dealing with this systemic racism that's been going on for quite a long time.
Bro, South Africa had apartheid to what, the fucking 90s?
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That lasted for a long time.
Holy shit. And it's still fucked up down there. And they had riots down there yesterday, bro. Protests. I don't know if they're turning into riots.
But
you do research.
All that goes to say is, ultimately...
No disinformation over here, player. Do your research.
If we're wrong about something, go ahead and email us, please.
Fact check us.
But all of that to wrap up or whatever, when I was... my mom calls me. She's freaking out, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I live like north of the city. I'm never going near downtown unless I absolutely have to. They're not going to march all the way up into my neighborhood because that's a long walk.
Slightly.
It's a really long walk.
That's a hell of a trek right there.
And I was sitting there and I was telling her, kind of make her to feel better, but something that I also believe in the sense of, let's look back at, MLK and that he was doing all these peaceful protests, all these peaceful movements, right?
Yeah, right. I love MLK, man, but Malcolm X was my guy. We're gonna get into that level, but go ahead.
And I was just telling her in the sense that like, riots will happen because, you get a group of people together. There's got to be that, inevitably there'll be that one loud, usually dumb motherfucker.
Bro, the match that knocks the gas, bro. Like straight up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, exactly. That's what I was telling people at work when we were watching it, and they were peacefully protesting. Like they had a black Muslim giving a speech or whatever, and it was very powerful and moving. And then once it started hitting nightfall, I was like, bro, it's gonna be that one dude. And then initially they showed this one guy trying to throw a chair into a fucking courthouse window, and I was like, oh,
and then
shit.
all hell breaks loose.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Then you got tear gas out there. Then they throwing like mortar shells at crowds, and I'm like,
and
bro,
the crowd shooting fireworks back at the police.
Yeah, bro, shit was wild for a minute. Like, for real, it was real serious. I had some people that were working downtown. Shouts out to them getting home safe and shit. But they're like, man, absolutely. Like we're downtown working, and they're right outside, busting windows. You know what I'm saying? Like getting it in, and it's like they weren't even mad that it was happening. They were just scared that maybe the cops might come for them, like they're a part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like they were trying to, eject themselves from it because they didn't want to be a part of the fucking cops' retaliation. Because eventually, those cops are gonna fucking retaliate, and shit's gonna go down. Like,
of course,
that's just basically how this shit goes. And initially, honestly, some of the videos that I've seen during broad daylight, cops were fucking attacking peaceful protesters, and then all the fucking wild shit goes down in all these cities. That's how it really went. But that's another narrative and a whole nother situation I need to research because I don't want to get too deep into it with my own opinions and shit.
I was just really surprised by all the videos that I've seen of all the undercover cops that were just sitting their asses in a vehicle on the side of the road until shit went down, and they were obviously told or not told to do something. Because I've seen multiple viral videos that have been pedestrians walking up to unmarked all black, murdered out car. And like they walk up and it's like, so-and-so just walked by me and was like, there's some cops up here. And they like knocked on the window and like, you guys cops? And they're like, no. They're like, well, you sure as hell look like cops. And this is in, Minneapolis where all of this stuff is going on.
Man, shouts out to my homie Worm. He drove up there 26 hours to get some great photos. Check out Photos by Worm. That's my guy. But yeah, like it's
his handle.
It should be Photos by Worm.
Photos by Worm.
Kevin Worm, what up? Why? I see you out here on the move, man.
WURM.
Yeah.
By the way.
But I guess extending that would be like that's another, like you said, for another day.
Yeah, because we got to do more research into what really happens. Because there's a lot. Like I say, it's a lot of fucking disinformation. That's what this episode's about. So cats, bats, and rats. Man. And it's a fucking disease. I tell you that.
Stay off that misinformation.
And we're gonna keep this rolling. So to close this out, I'm gonna do a song of the week. Or a song of the day, because I like the SOD. You know what I'm saying?
SOD is nice. We'll probably just be putting a song up every day, but we're only going to talk about it once a week until we get a little more prolific.
It's like song of the day of the week.
Yeah, song of the day of the week type of vibe.
SODOW.
Yeah, that part. But this song actually, I relate to almost every lyric in this song. That's why I picked it. I think next week it's going to be Grant or Drew that picks the song. But it's me this week. And I chose a song by Big Crit on an album that is titled Forever is a Mighty Long Time. Yeah, Forever is a Mighty Long Time.
Yep.
One of my favorite records ever. Shouts out to Crit, man. We're going to play a little snippet right now, and we're going to discuss what we hear.
Yeah, you want to play that for us?
Yeah, run that.
All right.
Everybody trying to die young, but who gon' talk about life? I pulled that card, good law. Confederate flag shit so flawed. They used to fly it like pilots and burn crosses in our yards. I can't get with you if you with that Wilson Dixon. They want that old time back. But niggas got 100 rounds and automatic, so we ain't having that. I ain't promoting no violence. People out here been wild. So much that you can get gunned down just for being happy and smiling. Ain't no hotline work.
Yeah, man, I relate to the lyrics of this whole song, and I highly advise anybody to check this song out. It's called Drinking Sessions by Big Crit.
It's good.
So I am admittedly one of the worst persons as far as lyrics go. Born, I think, to be a drummer. I just listen to the beat.
You talking onomatopoeias all the time, my guy.
Yeah, of course I do. So, like, I hear the words that are being said, and then, like, halfway through a line, I get distracted by the beat or the chord change or something like that, So
that's a song with a lot of vibes in it, man. Like the horn line, the slow drums.
It's awesome.
It's very ethereal. Like it brings you in, and the things that he's saying are so true and so raw. You know what I mean? Like
but so for my sake, give me a little like a brief synopsis of what he was talking about in that little clip.
A brief synopsis is he's talking about how he's not really with these motherfuckers thinking like the rebel flag is like my heritage, Bubba. You know what I mean? It's like, nah, bro, that's not the vibe. Like we need to move on from that shit because that's already happened, and it's so fucked up that it's still happening, and y'all are still talking about wanting this shit to happen. You know what I mean? Like, and also he's getting into the point of, you know, we're trying to do better, but we're trying to do better so much. Like we're trying so hard to do better that we might kill ourselves just trying to fucking do better while they're still trying to pull us the fuck down.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it relates to the time and relates to my everyday fucking life, bro. Like my whole existence is a fucking protest to this bullshit. So that's how I feel. And that song is one of my favorites of all time. And I highly advise you check it out. Tell us what you think.
I think that's beautiful. I've since you, I won't say forced me to listen to it because you know me very, very well. You will find something that you like and will be like, hey, Grant, check this out.
Yeah, of course.
And I'll say, okay, cool. I'll check it out.
And it's safe to say I have extremely great taste when it comes to music.
I will actually agree with you on that. But you will be like, hey, check this thing out. And I'll say, okay. And then my life will go on. And then a week passes. And then we talk again. And you'll say, hey, have you checked that out? No, I haven't checked that out.
No, I was like, oh, well, you're not on the wave now. The wave is gone. But you can still check it out. You know what I'm saying?
But then I will check it out, finally.
I mean, that shit came out like, 3 years ago, I think.
Well, yeah. And I've listened to it way before, now.
Yeah, of course.
But
just bringing it back to the forefront right now because
it's super relevant, and even as me not being or being super 100% Anglo white person, I
pretty close.
I did grow up poor as shit, and there's a verse in this song that we didn't hit on for certain reasons of copyright stuff. But anyway, but it essentially hits on the subject of, I'm driving a car that I can't really, or that, I'm driving a car that I can't really afford, living in a house that I can't really take care of. But
look, mama, I made it. I'm gonna be rich, mama. I'm gonna be big, mama. Yeah,
bro, I mean, and that's a feeling that I have being like coming from nothing.
Of course.
And,
and trying to get there and show success with those things. Cause that's, that in our minds, like, cause me coming from basically the same situation, it's like, like the success, the vibe of like prospering is I'm gonna get a house, I'm gonna get a car, I'm gonna have this dope shit. And like we forget the fucking mental health. Like, you know what I mean? Like the actual meaning of being successful is mentally healthy and financially stable. You know
of course. Like, of course.
But
well, and also the, getting back to the actual American dream opposed to what it's been bastardized as, which is chasing what you feel is right. It's not just getting a big house with a bunch of,
the social obligations,
money and everything. Yeah. So, but exactly. Everybody's been put into
graduate high school, you got to graduate college, you got to find a wife, you got to buy the house, you got to have the kid, you got to get the minivan, then you got to be miserable at the beach because there's sand in your ass and you're wearing shitty sandals.
Yeah. It's like, I don't give a fuck about what they think. Like I'm living my life for like the people I give a shit about. Yeah. And if something comes up, and I feel strongly enough about it, I'm going to speak out. Exactly. I'm going to be just like this little white kid that's like, oh, I'm white, can't say anything.
Yeah.
Exactly. Sure. No horse in the fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, it's supposed to be dog. No, fuck up.
Oh my God, yeah. But yeah, that's the song of the day of the week. This SOD. I'm gonna say SOD, bro. You know I like acronyms and shit. So that's the SOD. Check that shit out. It's fire. It's
a good one.
And check out that whole record, actually.
The whole record is good.
Fucking amazing.
It really is.
And his actual name is Justin, so.
Hey, how fun is that?
Yeah, that's a good name.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool fucking title. So, to move it on, to keep this thing rolling, you know what I'm saying? We're going to get into the main story today, and it has to do with the title of this episode, Bats, Cats, and Rats, and how they affected human life and possibly put us into modern times quicker than we would have made it there without the plague and all that stuff.
I mean, potentially so. I mean, I would say that the the Renaissance has to thank the main topic of today for its existence. I mean, we would not have the Renaissance about what we're about to talk about.
No, not at all.
Which I think anybody listening already knows what we're about to start talking about.
The Black Death. The Black Death. The world's most devastating plague. Yeah. And we happen to be in the COVID-19 pandemic right now, too. So we're going to wrap that all up like a nice gift in this. And
wrap it up.
Bring it full circle. But we're going to start with these cats that got killed in order for the rats to fucking spread it. And in order for a bat to meet a pig in Wuhan. And then this shit is just, I mean, it's just thick. It's thick. Boy, it's thick.
Get in there.
Get in there.
That boy means business.
So, before we launch into that, I think Drew wants to talk about some kitty cats because he seems to like those creatures for some reason.
You know, I like them every now and then.
And do that.
Yeah, I don't like what? So starting this off, it's going to seem a little bit like it's off subject, but it's not. So we're going to give you a little fun facts as long as relative facts to today. First off, I'm going to start off with cats, as was.
We're talking about fun facts or cat facts?
Fun cat facts.
Fun cat facts.
Yes, please, sir. Cats usually were thought of being domesticated in around about the ancient Egyptian times. This is incorrect. Looking into it, the first known domesticated cat was actually from the Isle of Cyprus in the Mediterranean 9,500 years ago.
That's way before Jesus was born.
Yeah,
are you sure about that?
No, he wouldn't have approved. Not on the Isle of Cyprus. But not Cyprus. But yeah, I mean, in ancient Egypt was roughly 3000 BC, so we're talking well before that.
Let's do our math. That means that is 500 years before Egypt.
Yeah.
You know, them pyramids that we like to look at?
I like pyramids.
Long time before that.
But ancient Egypt is where we see our first signs of superstition and beliefs behind our little furry friends. Well, not so much as friends as, goddesses and maybe demons and such.
Now, how is that both? How are we dealing with goddesses and or demons?
Yeah, I mean, it's a differentiation of your perception, I guess, of who was looking at these deities, if you will. The Egyptians definitely held cats on a high regard. Sure. Matter of fact, killing a cat was a capital crime, and you would be punished as such.
Cool.
Which is pretty neat. Also, awesome. If you had a cat in the family when it died, the family would shave their eyebrows.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, they would shave their eyebrows in remembrance of the cat.
Humans that owned that one cat.
They would shave their eyebrows.
Not necessarily that they own that cat. They mean they housed
or that the
and
cat
fed
owned
that cat.
them. At this point, but yeah, right.
But they would shave their eyebrows.
Yeah, they would shave their eyebrows as respect to the cat.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But they even had a goddess that was depicted as a black cat, which is Bastet or Bast. And it was the goddess of pregnancy, childbirth, probably because, fertility of domestic cats was pretty high. But
they made babies like crazy, right?
Yeah, but so that was
still do.
Yeah. But that was the glorified version of the cat, and enter the Christians into the society of ancient
love the Christians. God love the Christians.
Hey.
Praise Jesus. I'm ready. Let's go.
So the Christians saw the goddess being worshipped, and they became convinced that cats were demons in disguise. They believed that a cat crossed your path. It created a barrier of evil, severing you from God and heaven.
Whoa.
Which is
They had a lot more time
crazy,
to believe things back then. I wish I had that much time to actually believe something that
Me too.
outrageous. You know what I mean?
Honestly,
like, where's the fact checkers that like, bro, I think that's just a cat, my dude.
Yeah, dude, that's just a cat, man. I really like it when they purr. I go to sleep very easily.
Yeah, like, I think it's just a cat, though.
But that just kind of goes to show how bored we were back then. You know what I mean?
Hey, they didn't have no TV or Instagram, my dude.
Right. For sure.
These people obviously did not have Netflix.
No. So we fast forward a little bit to the Middle Ages. The Spanish community, the most popular superstition is that witches were, shape-shifting into black cats.
Sure, as they can and used to do and still do today.
And
There's a word for that.
Also in England, circa 1560. Mm-hmm. So the most popular story goes, there was a guy and his son, or man, if you will, and his son walking home. And a black cat walked across their path on the road. Uh-oh. And, oh, no. So this black cat walks across the road, and they're freaked out for some reason. So they start pelting the cat with rocks to get it to move off the road. Well, the cat runs off and runs to this old decrepit house. And apparently the old decrepit house belonged to and owned by a lady who practiced witchcraft. Fast forward to the next day.
I have to assume that that's what they just thought.
Oh yeah, they just saw this old lady who didn't give a shit about her appearance, probably, Right. So the next day, the old man or the man and his son run into this old lady, and notice that when they run into this old lady, she's limping on her left side, the side that they pelted the cat with.
Probably because she's just an old lady.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, it has nothing to do with her being just an old lady.
Now, see, that's where I disagree. That has to be
a familiar spirit.
That has to be proof. They hit that rock, or that cat with some rocks.
Yeah,
and then that old lady's limping. That means that old lady could turn into a cat.
Obviously
so.
Again, way too much time to believe in bogus shit.
But yeah,
way too much time.
Thus, the association was born with witches there. Had a really super long-lasting effect. Unfortunately, things like an example is like a lot of people believe that Pope Gregory IX made a decree that all cats should be destroyed. Because of their association with witchcraft and maybe a cause of the Black Plague there. So
is this before or after the Pope walked under a ladder and then tripped and landed into a mirror and broke?
Well, I think a mirror. Yeah. I think it was the mirror, honestly. I think he may have seen a black cat in the mirror, too. Who knows?
Oh, yeah.
The eyes of the cat.
I mean, that's 7 years right there. So
and this is mostly hearsay, and there are no facts to back it. Really, with the whole Pope. But there are facts that back clergymen in a lot of the surrounding villages and towns did do this. Yeah. And, it was because of their, a lot of their heightened sense of power being clergymen and, stuff like that. But, all about doing this, there was very little that they could do but, to stop the spread of rats.
Of course, when you kill the cats, the rats are going to flourish.
Yeah,
my guy.
Which
one predator they have makes the snakes.
It made a lot more sense that you leave the cats alone. Well, by our standards today, because the fleas on the rats were actually more liably the cause of this.
Yeah, the fleas. What's the name of that flea? It was a fucking weird ass. Exorcist. We'll get into that.
Yeah. But yeah, so like. Essentially, by exterminating these feline furries,
the furry friends,
they just exponentiated the spread of this disease.
They did,
of course.
Yeah,
but they thought they were saving the world.
Oh yeah.
They were trying to. They're avoiding ladders. They're making sure they're not breaking any mirrors.
Yeah.
And they're also getting rid of the cats.
Yeah,
but that does actually get us into what I've been looking into the last couple of weeks in order to be able to talk about all this kind of stuff is
the research,
Black Death, or the pestilence, or the Great Mortality. But what a lot of us know it as is the Black Plague.
Yes.
That was the most fatal pandemic recorded in human history, resulting in the deaths of up to 75 to 200 million people
Bit of a difference there.
And I
mean, that's a strong. God damn!
I think
the records are so pure from back then.
That just goes to show how well we kept,
accurate.
how well we recorded history back then. I mean, the 1300s. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
Not a lot of people know how to read nor write, so
yes, weren't many Dells floating around then either.
Yeah, right.
So that's what we have to go with or whatever. But that's, by the way, those numbers are for Eurasia and North Africa.
Okay.
But it peaked in Europe.
It's back in them times of my boy Nostradamus. Ain't it? Yeah.
It's way after him. I mean, way before him. But either way.
Way before after him.
Way before.
Somewhere in there. Fact checkers, check us out.
Yeah. Email us again, please. I don't want to do the sound effects right now.
No, I know. I just did it with my mouth.
But it peaked in Europe from 1347 to 1352.
Okay.
It was caused by the bacterium Yersinia pestis. And it was most likely carried by fleas on black rats.
They're nice.
And that resulted in a bubonic plague. And this particular bubonic plague, it takes about 7 days to develop. And after that, symptoms like fever, headaches, vomiting, diarrhea, and painfully swollen lymph nodes. And here's something that
just sounds so neat.
Yeah, it does sound so neat. It most likely started in China, and I hate the fact that also started
Are we really doing
China.
this right now?
Right?
No, I mean I'm just.
Did it start in Wuhan?
What is this? The Wuhan number one?
Is this COVID-1, huh?
Yeah.
Is that what this?
Apparently so.
COVID-1.
And they are pretty sure that it spread along the Silk Road.
Yeah.
And in October of 1947, in the Sicilian port of Messina.
1347.
Man, Sicilian women. Jesus Christ, bless them. Love them to death.
Okay, cool.
Anyway, go ahead.
How were they back in 1947, do you know?
19? I thought it was 1347.
1347.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
1947, they were fighting in a war.
So this ship pulls up to the port, and the people are working that port or whatever. They come up to the ship or whatever. They found almost the entire crew was dead, right? And the few remaining alive were covered in black boils, leaking blood and pus.
So you just burned the ship. They just burned the ship?
Honestly,
Okay,
you
cool.
should have burned the ship.
Yeah. Just boom. Just fire.
Yeah.
Holler at y'all,
How
Flair.
terrifying is that? Like a ship pulls up. How did that ship pull up, by the way?
Well, yeah, right.
And then secondly, they open
just
up.
floated, like
the thing. Yeah, right. It just floated up randomly. You know what I mean? And like the few people that are alive is like the scariest thing they've probably ever seen.
For sure.
Especially back in those times when I said they had way too much time to believe shit. So I'm sure they were like, they got cursed at sea. There's a monster out there that fucked the ship. You know what I mean? Like all that type of shit happened, I'm sure. But definitely burn that ship. Did they burn the ship?
I don't think so.
That's that bullshit.
Not.
That's that bullshit.
Really sure. So a little while
that's
after
white
that,
people being way too inspective, in the horror movies when they're like, "What's that noise? Let's go check it out." No, motherfucker, let's leave, bro. Like, why are we even here? Why do we
run away?
Yeah,
kill it with fire.
Yeah. Why do we even come here, bro?
Right.
Anyway. But yeah.
So a little while after that, there's this Italian poet and writer or whatever, Giovanni Boccaccio, and he's pretty popular with people that like to study the Black Plague and that era.
His name is Boccaccio?
Yeah. Boccaccio.
Ain't that like a bread? Bro. Oh, wait, shit, that's focaccia.
Yeah. But similar, but different.
Hey, that's a dope-ass name, though. I fuck with that.
Yeah. So
call that boy GB.
Here's a fun...
garlic bread.
Well, we can call it a fun quote. It's probably not a fun quote, but it's a quote all the same.
From my boy Boccaccio.
Giovanni Boccaccio.
Boccaccio. Word. I got it locked in. So what's the quote from the homie, bro?
The symptoms were not the same as in the East, where a gush of blood from the nose was the plain sight of inevitable death. And then I'm going to pull away from the quote. But in the West, It began with certain swellings in the groin or under the armpit.
Oh, God.
They grew to the size of a small apple or an egg.
Good God, son.
Yeah. Black or purple spots appeared on the arms or thighs or any other part of the body.
It's like a true horror movie type shit, bro.
I mean, so honestly, this is a pretty terrifying view, and how quickly it spread, and an enormous number of people were terrified by this, right? Mm-hmm. And so all these people, all these people that had no idea what was going on, but were like really, willing to help and all that stuff. They were not medical people at all, right? Mm-hmm. And they were like assigned to quote unquote trained doctors of the time, right? Because like once that ship came to port, these people, they were pulled in, they tried to help them, whatever. They ended up just making it spread, right?
Of course.
But for a long time, no one could find a remedy, nor did they know what was causing this. So you have to remember what time it is. Most assumed demons or people living in sin was the cause of this, right?
Yeah. The spiritual vibe.
Right. So in any case, very few people recovered and most died in about 3 days.
That's crazy.
If somebody contracted this thing, it would take
boom.
A maximum of 7 days to see symptoms, right?
That's crazy.
And then within 3 days, most people died, right?
Jeez.
That's fucking wild.
And this is something that...
And they don't have any, like, fucking professional medical gear and fucking, like, you got to think about these times. Exactly. They don't have fucking clean, sterile places. They're reusing the same shit that they just used type vibe.
Yeah,
like, this is a real fucked up time in society. Medieval. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jesus Christ.
So in reaction to this, some people decided not to speak nor go near the sick.
Which is
because that brought infection and common death to the living or whatever, Mm-hmm. And moreover, they would never touch the clothes or anything else the sick had touched or worn.
Yeah, of course.
Because that gave you that, right?
Yeah.
And this is something that...
Initially kind of a smart idea for sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, stay away. Like, completely stay away from this shit.
And the other thing that I think is just kind of ridiculous or whatever, and kind of ties into what we're dealing with today or whatever, other people thought just the opposite, right? They thought the sure cure for the plague was to drink and be merry. Or go about singing and amusing themselves.
Bro, that's exactly how I did the COVID this year, bro. Like, I've been drinking and just being merry as a motherfucker at the crib, dog.
Yeah, but are you bouncing around to pub? Are you walking the streets and singing and having the merry old time?
I'm at my house. Yeah. It's a lot different.
So
I'm quarantined.
The first grouping of people in high society decided to just completely remove themselves, right?
Yeah, of course.
This other group of people.
We got money. We'll holler at y'all.
Yeah.
The other group of people that had some money or whatever thought just the opposite, like I said. It was to be drinking, being merry, amusing themselves,
just getting it in.
Satisfying every appetite they could, laughing and jesting, i.e. making fun of, what is going on.
What's up? What's happening, world? This is Justin, Drew, and Grant from Friends, Facts, and Fiction podcast, and we're here to talk about Anchor.fm, the easiest way to make a podcast. Let's talk about it.
It's free.
It's free.
They have all these creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer.
Anchor will also distribute your podcast to Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I mean, anywhere you can really find a podcast. They'll throw it out there, bro.
And with no minimum listenership, they will also help you gain money.
Oh, it's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. I mean, download the free app right now, bro. What you waiting on? Let's go. Like, it can never touch us because we have money and we're safe, basically.
Right, and apparently...
kind of like your boy on the yacht.
There you go.
I'm quarantining on my yacht.
Right.
Shit's kind of fucked up. Bro, bitch, what?
What they thought, though, at the time, those people, what they were thinking was the fact that the Black Plague, the Black Death, the Great Pestilence, whatever you want to call it, was a cause of sin, right?
Yeah,
and they were thinking, or demons,
the way that you live is
and
why
they were
you got
thinking,
this.
if we're going to be happy and enjoy each other's company and have all this fun and stuff like that, that's going to drive the demons away.
Yeah.
Which, of course, is fucking ridiculous.
Oh, come on now.
Again, way too much time to believe some bogus shit. Right. I'm going to say that a lot right now. I've said it like 4 times already. But
so that's the two groups of thought of the upper class. Now, the plight of the lower and most of the middle classes was even worse. Here's another quote, and I cannot remember who the guy's name is, but was revered kind of the similar way that Mr. Fakasha Bread.
My guy, GB. Garlic bread.
Garlic bread, Fakasha bread.
So that one goes,
my boy.
Every church dug deep pits down to the water table. And thus who died during the night were bundled up quickly and thrown into the streets.
Mummies.
Clergymen and other people of community would load them up onto wooden boards, and they would take them and dump them into the pit. In the morning, when a large number of bodies were found in the pit, they took some earth and shoveled it down onto them. Later, more bodies were thrown in, and another layer of earth on top. And this is from the quote, as fucked up as it is.
Oh, my God.
As one makes layers of pasta and cheese.
Man, I like lasagna now. Hell, dude. That shit right there is gooder than hell. Layers. Oh shit, God. Man. Are we the ricotta? Are we the meat? Or...
I have to think that we're the ground beef in this situation.
Oh, wow.
I don't know, but if we had Black Death, them pussy discharges might make some ricotta.
That could make some ricotta. That could.
Some ricotta, boy. Oh, my goodness. Doug, that quote sounds like fucking New York in like 2 months ago when they were fucking like dumping bodies
digging
in diesel
mass
trucks
graves.
and digging mass graves and shit, bro. We're going full circle with this, people.
Right.
Anyway.
And to actually bring it around to what Drew was talking about with cats, is, out of desperation, community leaders, which were primarily clergymen at the time, I mean, these are people of the church because that's the only people that knew how to read and or write. And if they would say something, most of the people would listen to them or whatever. They implemented certain decrees to alleviate this pandemic, including killing or driving out the cats because they thought that they were evil specters or, friendly to witches or
familiar spirits to
familiars to witches. That's what I was trying to think of.
There you go.
Boom. That were surrounding this plague, and as we said earlier, the actual act of driving these people out caused these rats carrying these fleas to flourish, making this pandemic worse.
They hopping on ships and some more shit. They spreading around the world.
They actually did. Yeah, black rats spread around the world. Thank God for brown rats, which we'll hit on.
Brown rats when we get to them rat facts.
Ooh. Yeah, baby, you like them rat facts.
Them rat facts. So far we have the cats into the rats, and now we're gonna tap on these rats a little bit.
All right, let's hit up on these rats.
Dig it.
So, if any of you out there listening have musophobia, fun word, that is actually the fear of rats, right? So here's some fun rat facts. Brown and or gray rats don't like humans, but black rats do. They love to live near humans. They always condense in areas of high human condensed living, right? So cities at the time and cities now.
Yeah.
If brown rats haven't come in and driven these brown rats out, gray rat, Jesus Christ, black rats out. So the Black Plague. What really happened was these fleas on these black rats that were brought over on trade ships and everything like that.
Yeah.
The Black Plague usually took about 2 weeks to kill a colony of black rats. And once that happened, those fleas would jump onto humans, and that's what caused the Black Plague.
Yeah.
Primarily, right?
Right.
But brown rats ended up driving these black rats out of a lot of territories because in a lot of areas, cats weren't around anymore. So thank God for these brown rats, honestly.
Yeah.
And these rats are actually really, really cool. They eat about 10% of their body weight. Their teeth can cut through wood, lead, cinder blocks, and steel.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. No, seriously. Yeah, these little dudes are badass. Not only are they driving black rats out of like human communities and stuff like that, but they've got all these other really incredible attributes to them.
Straight gangsters that came through like G's.
Seriously, though, and they have a biting force of over 24,000 pounds per square inch.
Hey.
Yeah, they gangster as hell.
Seriously, though, they can swim for over 3 days. They can squeeze their entire body through anything they can get their head in. And one pair of these brown rats can have up to 15,000 descendants in a year.
That's wild to think about, bro.
Right?
Yeah. It's too many babies. That's a lot of child support.
That is
a lot of child support.
That is too many babies. But if you think about
After
it,
the first 500, I'm like, hey, look, shorty.
how honestly though, how
at the
cool
ride
is it? How cool is it though that these little dudes drove out these disease-carrying black rats out? You know what I mean? A lot of people don't know why the Black Plague ended. I mean, it didn't end. I mean, literally a couple years back.
Yeah, it's still fucking
2018, a young boy in Ohio, ended up getting the bubonic plague. As
they're
we
trying
know
to
it,
fuck with
what
rats.
I mean?
Yeah,
Probably. Man. I bet you that. I bet you money. They, probably.
Yeah, he probably did. He probably tried to slide it in there,
Hey, I bet you that little boy.
There's some fucked up people out there,
That little boy picked up a dead black rat from a gutter and was like, "Cute,
look at this thing," and then fucking almost died.
Yeah, exactly. But
I probably did die, I guess.
All these brown rats drove the black rats out, and honestly, I think, and I could be wrong, but I think that the introduction of brown rats into European colonies is what helped drive the Black Plague out.
So the brown rats just came through like, bro, this is my set. Get up out of here.
Exactly.
Like, this is my territory.
Yeah,
player.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. We got to get y'all up out of here, kid.
Do not seek the treasure.
Do not seek the treasure. We thought you was a toad.
It's a horny toad.
Great film, Oh Brother Art Thou, if you don't know those references.
Oh, yeah.
Please go watch that movie. It's
Shout out to the Odyssey.
You and me and the devil make three. Boy, that's a slapper right there.
So a fun thing, and I guess this is going to be just the fact that this is the first episode and we're not covering all our bases here. Bases is
Our base eye.
Is
all that talk.
Actually, I put a note into this to insert rat kings.
Yeah.
And I forgot to look into that to have some fun facts to read about. But you guys know about rat kings? You heard about that?
Oh, I definitely do.
No.
Yeah, they're super creepy.
I have
super creepy.
No idea what the fuck y'all talking about.
Google it.
Google it?
Google rat king images. Yeah, it's pretty disturbing.
What the fuck is that? What?
So rats
please
exist.
enlighten me.
Yeah.
Rats exist in pretty tight-knit communities, right?
Of course.
They live in sewers. They live underneath foundations. They hang out in crawl spaces. All
is
that
this
kind of
like
fun
the
stuff.
Pickle Rick episode of Rick and Morty type of vibe?
No, but that would be awesome. Pickle Rick is the rat king.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what's
Sure.
This thing got mechanical arms and shit. What's up?
No, what happens is that they kind of live on top of each other, right, Justin?
Of course.
And their tails, which are quite long, about a third of the length of their body most of the time.
Yeah.
They get tangled. And multiple rats' tails will get tangled
And like
within
stuck.
each other, and they get stuck, and they travel in this big clump.
Oh my fucking god, that's
It's a
terrifying.
rat king.
Oh my god,
and that
bro.
is what's referred to
It's
as
a
rat king.
it's a wad of rats.
That's fucking.
It's literally
terrifying.
a wad
And
of rats.
from what I've seen, they can get up to
Get the
300 rats in one rat king.
Yeah.
What?
A rat king can grow
What
up to the
the
size
fuck,
of 300 rats.
300
Oh
rats,
my
man.
god. Yeah.
That's like you're watching.
Grab the strap.
That's bigger than a beach ball, very easily.
Yeah. Oh my god, honey, did you bring my gun?
Yeah, right. I think we can knock out at least 10 of them.
Cacao. We need to go and pop this. Yeah. What the fuck? Oh my god, bro.
So,
Jesus fucking Christ.
to me,
That's crazy.
When I've been learning all these facts or whatever, I'm thinking to myself personally that, black rats, bad, obviously.
Hey, man. Fuck all that hatred.
I don't give a shit about the color of the particular creature. But that particular breed of rat that they called black because they
that's a way better way of saying that, my guy.
Yes, they are terrifying. But brown rats actually have a lot of really, really badass stuff going on.
Obviously, they came through and was like, "Hey, look, bro, you fucking up the world, cuz.
Sure.
I'm gonna have to ride on you, homie. I'm gonna have to ride on you, homie." You know what I'm saying?
But I mean, I'm sure anybody that's listening or whatever, you're thinking like all the little stats that I gave up about rats in general and primarily brown rats or whatever. The fact that they can like chew through anything and any hole that they can fit their head through, they're gonna get into and all that kind of fun stuff. Yeah, that is like pretty freaking scary. They can actually survive an atomic fallout. They've got lots of research when we were testing A-bombs and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. They survive the radiation there.
Yeah, they could survive the radiation.
There's also a great scene in one of the Fast and
but
Furious
it's a mammal,
movies.
Drew. Like
which is crazy.
It's a mammalian cockroach.
Okay, so Keith Richards.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So fun fact: Fast and the Furious. A great film franchise.
Love it.
There's a scene.
Sorry, I like the first one.
I think in Too Fast, Too Furious. I don't know. Anyway, they have a rat. They put it on this guy's chest, and they put a fucking metal bucket. Around the rat, and they heat up
with a blowtorch.
Back of the blowtorch.
Yeah.
So the rat's going away from harm. So he bites through this motherfucker. Starts biting through his chest. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's a crazy way of torture because these motherfuckers can bite through anything. Yeah. Skin and bone is nothing if you can bite through fucking steel and fucking brick. Like you know what I mean? Like shit's wild. Just a little fun fact that I had.
Sure.
Yeah. Go Bama. All right.
Roll Tide.
Sliding out of there.
But if we're although I will say if we're diving into kind of the modern context of it or whatever, they have been an excellent source of information as test subjects, right?
Yeah, because they're very kin to human bodies, right?
Right. Their anatomy is very, very similar to humans, right? But their lifespan is a lot shorter, and they have a crazy amount of offspring, as we heard earlier. Like 15,000 per pair, right?
Bro, that income tax check, bro.
It's gonna be lit.
Oh my god! Turn up, bro. Everybody get new cars,
I'm
bro.
sitting on like a $250 billion here.
Yeah, exactly. How much money is that? What's up? I think it's like an extra, at least extra
the
stack.
American dollar just plummeted to negative 3.2 cents.
We having to pay these damn rat babies off.
Right.
Like this shit's real out here.
So just a couple of years of research on a rat, putting it akin to humans, would take about 70 years, right? So 2 years versus 70 years.
Yeah, of course.
That's
how we get all those fun drugs and stuff that we like,
exactly,
right?
Exactly. And then that makes them...
Or the fun drugs that fuck our lives up.
Yeah, that makes them insanely valuable in that regard,
Yeah.
And also the fact that, like, they don't fuck with us. Black rats used to fuck with us like crazy. But brown rats
Black
who
Plague. What the fuck?
Brown rats who live really near us or whatever, pizza rat, right? That's a brown rat in New York City that's carrying a slice of pizza down the stairs. And
What's up? I got my dinner right now.
Yeah, exactly. Those are very intelligent, highest survival instinct, whatever kind of creatures. You know what I mean? They're doing what they can.
Cowabunga.
Aren't they marsupials? No, they're not marsupials.
No, they are not. They are mammals.
All right, we're gonna slide up out of there.
Just joking.
I'm gonna get up out them facts. You got the facts.
So while they're scary or whatever, the like bacterial and viral diseases that the black rats used to carry back in the day, the brown rats do have some or whatever, but that usually doesn't transfer into human populations.
Interesting.
So they're essentially harmless to us, right? And they're just living off of our refuse or our trash. If anybody's curious about that word.
My boy out here with these $5 words and shit. $5 words. I see you out here, boy. Shit, do it. Run it
I've got a couple of $5 words. Every now and again, I might have a $20 word.
In a $5 conversation, though.
But that's just once a week. Once a week, I have a $20 word.
One of my favorites is surreptitious.
That's a good word.
Is that like when you put, like, you really like syrup all over everything? And you're like, I'm surreptitious. Like, I like syrup on my burger.
Drew.
I like syrup on my bacon. Drew. I'm just syrup damn-titious.
It's being sneaky.
Drew, you're wrong.
Kind of clandestine. Oh, shit. That's another big word.
Oh, no, man. That's like an orange, right? Like clementine, clandestine.
Okay, so, all right. Let me
damn it, y'all's confusing the hell out of me right now.
Hold on. Let me quell this for both y'all.
Quails?
Yes, those are wonderful birds. No, so surreptitious means to be afraid of syrup.
Afraid of syrup.
Superstitious of syrup.
Man, it's like that arachnophobia movie I done watched where I was talking about they was afraid of Aracs, but they was afraid of spiders the whole time.
Right.
And because I was confused because I don't know what the hell an Arac is.
Well, an Arac... I'm not going to go there. Never mind.
Yeah, you know, we are not.
Yeah, I think we got a little too deep in that one.
I'm going to run away from that conversation.
Run.
Real fast.
Run, Will Robinson.
Yeah, slide out of there, player.
Danger.
Slide out of there. Well, that was a nice little tangent. But anyway.
And to be clandestine is to assume that your destiny is to be one with clementines.
Or with clans.
Yeah, or with the clan. Oh shit.
Okay, I'm also going to run away.
Hey, out of there. Oh, bye-bye.
Nope. Running away from that.
Running away.
Again, danger, Will Robinson.
Keep opening the fridge.
Yep.
Closing that
door.
That
fridge
again,
is stanky.
Yeah. Quarantine fridge check. Yeah, I'm just looking again.
Someone did not ice the seafood.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we have all these rats, that live with us, and luckily they are not the disease-carrying rats that caused the bubonic plague back in the day,
which is dope.
But they are all around us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And something that I would have to say that I like them. I think they're cool. I've met a couple people with pet rats, and I think they're really awesome.
You mean like hamsters?
Nope, actual rats, like with the wormy tail and everything,
Well, they used to be pets to like royalty back in the day. Right?
Yeah, those were called fancy rats.
Fancy rats.
Fancy rats.
See, I got some facts too. Goddamn. Yeah.
But honestly, they're not that scary if they scurry from one trash can to another. If you're visiting New York City, or if you live in New York City, I'm sure you've seen plenty of that. At least those little motherfuckers don't fly. Right?
Yeah,
Because imagine if one of those, you see it on a fire escape or whatever, say you're in New York or whatever, that little dude, you're like, oh shit, that's a big ass rat. And it just like hops up real quick and just glides through the situation. Or worse yet, just starts flapping its little front paws or whatever and just
what up?
No.
Yeah, run up on you.
That'd be scary.
You know what would be scary if that was a real thing, bro?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because it is.
Is it?
It is. So
In what way?
these funny things that rhyme with rats are called bats.
Bro.
Bat facts.
I literally I was like Louisville
It's time
Sluggers.
for bat facts.
Like,
Bat facts.
we doing like
See if I can get a soundbite
baseball
for some.
baseball, right?
Baseball? Bat facts? Oh, yeah. Louisville Sluggers.
No, we're not talking about those.
No.
We're talking about those little terrifying flying mammals.
Bat facts.
We'll see what
I'm
this
an
sounds
Oakland
like.
A's fan, so
Okay, so
A's.
I guess in that regard, it's time for bat facts.
Bat facts.
Never mind.
All right.
So, although bats are outnumbered by rodents or the rats in species richness, they do represent the second species richness in the mammal in the mammal like population. There are over 1,230 species of bats.
Jesus Christ.
crazy.
Which is insane.
A fucking, what is it called? A moose bat? Those things are terrifying.
Frightening.
Those things are terrifying.
Frightening.
Yeah.
are
Well, Gary
bad.
Busey was a rat.
Yeah.
Or was a bat.
He was a rat and a bat.
He's running out there hard.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Look up a picture of a moose bat. And tell
Or
me.
Gary Busey.
Yeah.
And just paint it brown, and you've got you got the whole thing there.
Do the thing. Run with that.
So in all of those species, the smallest one is called the Kitty's hognose bat or the bumblebee bat.
Kitty's hog.
That sounds adorable.
Yeah, it's so cute sounding.
Who the fuck is Kitty?
What? Kitty, yeah, right.
Kitty
Where did Kitty come
it?
from?
Kitty discovered it?
Like a kitty cat?
Kitty.
Little
No,
tiny kitty?
it's not Kitty spelled the same way. I'm pretty sure it's someone's name, but I don't know where. Honestly, the reference, but so the bumblebee bat.
Yeah.
It's the world's one of the world's smallest mammals. It scales down to what I just called it, a bumblebee. Imagine a bat the size of a bumblebee.
That's nuts, bro.
It's pretty crazy. That's crazy.
That's
and it
insane.
hails from Thailand. Not surprising.
Sure.
The world's largest winged creature is the fruit bat. We have those all over the United States, but
of course.
Travel down under. And the fruit bats are, the size of little people. And by little people, I mean like 3 or 4 year olds, not
Okay.
know.
I was just about to.
No.
I was just about to.
So if you held up
People
your
are looking correct out here.
don't hold up your Bridget, hold up your child.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
At about 3 years old.
The Bridget, nice.
Yeah, see? not being too far off. But anyway, little quips. You hold up about a 3 or 4 year old child at wingspan, if you will, and that's about the size of the biggest bat that you're going to run into, which is frightening.
Yeah, that's pretty
That's
scary.
larger than a lot of birds.
Yeah, it's
Like
also
a
very
lot
frightening
of
that,
birds.
the bat is essentially a mix between, it's a mammal, but it's a mix between like a bird and a mammal in the such that where the veins and everything that you see on the wings are actually fingers that connect at the end of the wings.
Yeah.
Right.
So they can grab things with their wings.
Yeah,
So,
they
I mean,
can-
it's pretty
can hold on to
groovy
stuff.
little deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got a nice setup going. It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
It's
One of the
kinda
best
neat.
things about these little guys, though, is that they eat our pestilent little friends, the mosquito.
Yeah, which is awesome because fuck them.
It's
motherfuckers.
super beneficial for us,
That
Especially in
makes
the
me
South.
love bats.
Right.
Especially
yeah.
in the South,
I
bro.
hate them.
They just carry disease and fucking bite shit out you, bro.
for me, though.
I mean, West Nile. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
What's now?
You
just rep West
Whoa, West Nile. But for example, a pipistrelle bat can eat up to 3,000 of these nasty fuckers in one single night.
Nice.
Hell yeah,
Love
3,000.
it. I need one of them homies in the
Right?
backyard, my
Let's
guy.
give a little bit of cheers to those bats.
Oh, yeah. Woo! So, in saying that, we're going to move on to maybe not the best things about what folklore and things have passed down of bats. I'm sourcing this from an article by Patty Whittington.
Pat Witt.
Oh, Patty Witt. So
Oh,
if you want
Patty Witt.
to fact check, do it. But during the Middle Ages, residents of Western Europe and England believed that bats spread diseases. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And a lot of that was because they're essentially, our version of the flying rat.
Right.
That was a big part of that. But also, they were associated with witchcraft as well.
Yeah.
Witchcraft and, dark magic and sorcery. And even talking to the dead. To the dead. Yeah.
And actually, to just pause you real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really obvious in the way that we as Western people in 2020 or the last, I actually don't have a number, but I'm going to have to assume 60, 70 years.
Yeah.
When we come around to Halloween times, which is, of course, a pagan holiday, as a lot of people know, cats, bats, and rats are always associated with Halloween.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
The spooky times.
The spooky times. You got the spooky creatures.
Yeah.
Doing the spooky times.
They're the three-headed monster of Halloween, actually. Right?
In a lot of ways, they are.
for sure they are.
You have,
I
you have
mean-
skeletons and ghosts,
Yeah.
and then you have cats and bats and rats.
Cats and bats and rat.
Which is the title of the episode.
In case you forgot.
Well, I mean, and even in saying that, a lot of it had to do with like Scotland and England. They were just essentially, they believed they were the messengers between witches and the devil.
Right.
But jump over to like, you have all of these like dark associations
I'm
with
sorry,
it,
I'm pouring
and
out.
it's mostly Europeans that have these dark associations because you have the Chinese, and everything and these other sects of mostly ancient, civilizations and stuff that came up with all of these. But outside of like mainland Europe, for real, it was they were good omens. Like for instance, like the Mayans, they celebrated a god, and his name was Camazotz, and he was a monstrous creature with a head and wings of a bat, but a body of a human, and it was associated with human sacrifice. That's so terrifying. For like explorers like Cortez and his conquistadors. With their background and heritage, of the European descents.
Isn't that song, Cortez the Killer?
He's the killer now.
Isn't that the song?
He was a killer.
Am I tripping?
It was,
You're not tripping at all?
seeing that, okay, so if you were Cortez and his conquistadors and you're coming from a European, background and you see this, that'd have been terrifying.
Oh, of course, bro.
Sure. It's like, oh, God.
Yeah.
But
they come down there, they see these.
Oh God! Literally. Yeah, wait, he is a guy.
I mean, they come down, they travel so far by boat and all this kind of fun stuff, and they go really, really deep into the jungles of the time and everything, and then they see these.
Shit that's never been seen before by humans. Actually,
they viewed them as savages, right? Okay. And then they're honoring these different creatures or whatever, or these mythological manifestations of their culture or whatever, as God-fearing Western Europeans at the time that were travelers, and then ultimately conquerors.
Yeah,
Of course, that's terrifying. And that's why they love to call them, these heathens that need to understand the word of God and all this stupid shit.
Yeah, the Crusades and all that wild stuff.
So you have the Mayans that have a god named after, that's bat human. And in China, it was actually a symbol of honor.
Right.
5 bats in a group together is a 5-fold blessing: financial security, longevity, good health, a virtuous life, and a natural death.
And I have to assume that's like a really nice thing if you think about it. Like a natural death has got to be one of the best things that you could hope for back in the day. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, for sure. Back in the day with no like modernized medicine or anything.
Right.
Yeah,
please let me die in my sleep.
Brown recluse could kill you.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's just you, Justin.
Yeah. Okay. Side story: got a brown recluse bite last year. Almost lost my calf muscle.
Was really gnarly.
Yeah, that was crazy. Crazy times, and my leg is about 95% now. That was almost a year ago. So.
Nice.
Shouts out to wolf spiders who eat brown recluses. Do not kill wolf spiders.
Hell yeah. Anyway, gotta love some wolf spiders.
Anyway, let's get back to
what else does the bat do?
It's also known as a trickster in some societies, particularly in North American tribal cultures. Like the coyote, the bat often appears in cautionary tales. Of note, the bat is also associated with clarity of vision and intuition. So that's a kind of a weird catch-22.
Because they're blind as a motherfucker.
It's a trickster, but
it makes a lot of sense.
It brings
because,
you clarity.
Like, they utilize echolocation, right?
Right.
As how they manage to fly.
Blind as a bat is a thing.
Literally.
Well, they are legitimately blind when they utilize echolocation. And that's something that we have used ever since, right? The submarines back in the day, submarines still. All of these autonomous cars, backup sensors in modern cars. Oh, yeah. All of them use a version of echolocation. Right? It's a digital frequency that's sent out from the little sensor, and it shoots back. And if it's an object is too close, that little digital sensor knows that, and it warns you as a driver.
It's or also similar to a snake.
If it's
what? We're gonna get out of there. Slide out of there.
Slide out.
Autonomous cars do that in traffic situations, and then they know where the actual road is. So bats are incredibly valuable to us as a modern civilization. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah,
Boom.
For sure.
Facts.
So moving on to like the medical dealios with these little guys.
Cilios.
So there was a new study done by the University of California, Berkeley.
Shouts out to Berkeley.
Berkeley, outside of Oakland.
Ooh.
Geography.
How about them Oakland A's?
More like them bees.
Oh, damn, G.
Yeah. Wah, wah, wah.
Anyway.
So the study finds that bats' fierce immune response to viruses could actually drive the viruses to replicate faster, because essentially when a virus hits a bat, their cell walls harden,
right,
like a rock, and it makes the virus replicate at a really high speed to where, because they're essentially like a virus is going to be like, oh, more of us, less of that. Eventually, we'll break through. Yeah. Well, it sometimes does, and a lot of times, these bats never die from the diseases that they're carrying. They just, pass them on.
Yeah. Hashtag Wuhan.
But yeah, the viral infection in these bats leads to a swift response to all of this.
Yeah.
And while the bats are protected, getting infected with these viral loads, if you will, is way, way worse than any other mammal, because we don't have, especially humans, we don't have this antibody that they do, or like immune system that they do.
Right.
So it essentially exponentiates the time at which it infects you and your gestation period. Like everything is just
super virus, basically.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
The super virus with a cake on.
And researchers have found that like one of the main things that's really fucking all this up is us. And it's not just like, we're a disease. No, it's their habitat being stretched, and their habitat being them mentally and physically, and their actual habitat being stressed out causes bats to actually go into this state of like extreme stress, to where all of the viruses that are in their body, it's almost like a call to arms for viruses. When they get stressed out, or when they're pushed into, well, number one, they're being stressed out because they're being pushed out of their habitat, which is pushing them into more populated areas,
more people,
aka where we live. So it's pushing them there, which ups the rate of infection to humans and other mammals. But also, by stressing them out, we make them produce 10 times more of they secrete 10 times more virus into their saliva than they ever would, and that's just a natural part of them. They're essentially it's like
blood pressure.
It's like a pheromone for viruses.
Sure,
that's crazy,
and it's insane.
Yeah,
which can also kind of play into that disease of misinformation as well.
Of course,
because when people are sent into a high stress area, the pheromones for change and maybe irrational acts step up to affect everyone around them,
of course,
in an exponential manner.
Yeah. Sure.
And so it's pretty neat how that relates as well.
Definitely.
But
full circle.
Yeah, it's a weird circle.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. But a lot of these, diseases that have come from bats have not come directly from bats.
Right.
The researchers also from Berkeley noted that they jump from, there's an intermediary. Yeah. So like SARS came to humans through the Asian palm civet, MERS via camels, Ebola via gorillas and chimpanzees.
Yeah.
But all of these were affected by bats, which transferred that to them. So it's weird because bats are essentially like a reservoir of human viruses.
They're just chilling with it.
And that was recognized in like the first half of the 20th century, when rabies was found in South and Central America.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing that we still remember, in the sense that like most everyone knows that bats carry rabies, right? So if you have some bats that come into your attic or whatever, and you come in and like, what the hell is that sound in my attic or whatever, and you go up in there and a whole bunch of bats get flustered or whatever, and they fly around your head, and that's that scary moment or whatever.
Terrifying thing about childhood, man. Bat getting caught in my grandmother's house.
Sure.
Scared the shit out of me as a kid.
And so if that bat lands on your head, you immediately think, oh shit, I have rabies. I got to deal with this, right?
You need to go to the doctor.
But the fact of the matter is that bats some of them do carry rabies, but the only reason that they carry rabies is because of other animals that they came in contact with. And we have pulled those bats out of their natural habitat, and so they're trying to just integrate wherever they can. Let's look at the bridge in Austin, Texas. That is like this beautiful sight to behold, which I've been there, I've done that. It's awesome.
Dope.
Come nightfall, hundreds of thousands of bats come out of this bridge.
That's wild.
Tunnel in
I did
Austin,
not know this
Texas.
was a thing.
It's really dope.
Oh, word.
Come nightfall, they come pouring out underneath this bridge that you can stand on. And literally every night, as far as I know, because the night that I was there, traffic just stopped. It was very strange.
That's
and
crazy.
we walked up to it, but a lot of cars that were driving over the bridge literally just stopped. They parked. They got out of the car and they stood on the edge.
This
of
is
the
a
bridge
majestic fucking sight right here. Yeah,
and
exactly.
then they came pouring out, and they're honestly they're badass little creatures or whatever.
Yeah. Hashtag Bruce Wayne.
In the thing. And I think the thing that's important to remember is that they do a lot for us and for themselves and all that kind of shit, And it's just, if you drive them out of their habitat,
you create more problems for them and us.
Exactly.
Straight
what
up.
they naturally do is absorb viruses and quell them within their own population. If you drive them out of their little habitat, there's a good chance that their viruses, they're
super viruses, by the way.
Yeah. That they have that's fine within them can be transferred into animals that we sometimes eat.
Yeah.
And
or pet or take care of every day.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Wild.
Then it becomes an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Honestly, the most epidemiological.
Ooh,
word. Big word.
Damn.
Time.
Word.
That's a $9 word right there.
Ayo, baby.
Epidemiological.
So the biggest epidemiological factor, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that we are so mobile as a species ourselves,
right?
And so we're fucking it up pretty good too.
Yeah.
Land modifications, changes in vegetation patterns, like deforestation areas, new land crops, stuff like that, and disturbances in like vector and host species dynamics. It's really causing a link between humans and livestock.
Of course.
This big, because your humans and livestock go hand in hand on the fact of like we eat the livestock.
Exactly.
So, and livestock are you have your blood-driven bats and stuff as well, which are vampire bats.
Oh God! Whole different thing. We can get into vampire shit later in our lives.
Nah, no problem.
Like episode 50, we'll get into weird shit with vampires. But vampire bats are very real.
Yeah, they're very real.
Vampires are mystical, but sometimes real creatures. You can be a vampire without sucking blood. It's called sucking energy off of people.
Hey,
but anyway, look
should
into
watch,
that shit. Psychic vampires.
The Things We Do in the Dark.
Yeah.
Check that out. yeah, you have your energy sucking vampire.
That's good shit. Yeah, definitely check that out if you have not.
Fantastic.
That is good shit. Yeah, but anyway.
But yeah, so because we eat a lot of cattle and stuff like that, we have these issues a lot more passed down. And we also, like was mentioned before, like the wet markets for bats and stuff in predominantly, Asia.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there is no proverbial FDA, which our FDA shit in the first place. But if there was some kind of world FDA that actually gave a fuck and, did things, and there would be, some kind of systematic approach of, taking care of this. But there's not. And I don't think there ever will be, honestly. I think that like things like this have to be solved by cautionary, things like social distancing and such. But, I don't know.
Sorry to interrupt, but I really do think that it's quite important to institute a global system in which we understand the fact that like certain food handling practices can increase your chances of a disease.
Yeah, of course.
And potentially a pandemic, you know?
I mean, truth of the times, bro. 2020 is wild, homie.
I mean, like
the world is on fire.
Like, 2020 is the way
vision,
it is, but I mean, like we have SARS, we have the swine flu, we have H1N1, we have all these different things that have happened, and some of them
are still around, by the way.
They are very much still around.
a thing.
Like, very much still around.
I guess it might be fact that Corona might never go away. It might just
it's not going to go away. It's not going to go away. It's going to be H1N1. It's going to be SARS. It's going to be AIDS.
Well, and the problem with that,
different things.
another problem with that therein lies the fact that, like, I was watching an interview on CNN the other day with this guy who was like heading the H1N1 vaccine. He's essentially had to put that shit on pause because of this.
Right.
And he was just like, well,
it's going to be something else after this.
Yeah.
Something else after
so,
that.
I mean, and that's what we are perpetuating, like, this never-ending cycle.
Especially when we keep disturbing these areas of animals that we have to get closer to, or they get closer to us because they keep disrupting their environments. And like, I mean, it's hard to control a population of people,
and that's
let alone control
honestly
a population of bats, and rats, and cats. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, you feel me? Like, it's harder to control that than humans. Like, that's going to happen.
There's actually certain areas of America, like lower income areas of big cities within America, that have this crazy high feral cat population. That's actually a massive issue.
Yeah.
Like they really, really struggle with these feral cats that fuck a whole bunch of shit up, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, I think, you know, all this really ultimately boils down to, as humans, we, for a long time now, have been disrupting the natural order of these
for sure.
very prolific, what's the word I'm thinking of? Not indestructible, but very strong.
Like impermeable kind of a...
Yeah, that's fine. I'll use impermeable.
Sure.
Species that just go with the flow, right?
Right.
It's very, very difficult to kill them off. Right?
Yeah.
And, you know, hopefully we're not going to be killing anybody off, any other creature off by any means. But there's plenty of creatures that, like, you know, with human intervention or whatever, we have already made plenty of species extinct.
Oh, for sure.
But there's these other species that are just as resilient as we are. And so they're going to come into our culture or our little, you know, societies that we develop and all this kind of shit. And most of the time that means knocking a whole bunch of fucking trees down, pouring a whole bunch of asphalt, destroying that area of nature that's existed way before we ever were around.
Yeah, man.
And so some of these creatures are going to come out. And that boils back to what we've been talking about. And a lot of those are cats, bats, and rats.
The title of the episode, if you didn't know.
Yeah, if you, for some weird reason, queued in like an hour and 37 minutes into this particular podcast.
Yeah. But yeah, it's insane to just think about the fact that all this is fact. All this is fact. And there's so much misinformation out there. I was saying disinformation as well. But it's just that idea of like research things, man, and know what's really going on and know how this all affects us. You know
I mean, it comes down to like almost like the statement, like be informed, not influenced.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
You know?
Just know what's really going on so you can do your part to help if you can, if you're able to. You know what I mean? Like, don't just blasé pass it off as just, I read a blog, I know this thing. It's like, no, look into how you can help, you know, affect the world in a better way.
Right. And God forbid you think for yourself.
Yeah, right?
I mean, please
Or question authority. Don't do that.
Please do that too.
Oh, yes, please and thank you.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that's kind of the tie together of this whole episode, in the sense that, you know, we're dealing with these riots that have been going on.
It's crazy.
We've been dealing with this fear of, this current pandemic. And if you haven't noticed the pattern that pandemics are happening more and more and more, seems to me at least that it's happening on an exponential curve.
Of course.
So we're going to see more of these.
Oh, for sure.
And I think something else after this, man. It's gonna be something.
This isn't even the only wind of this.
It's the beginning.
COVID shit either.
Yeah. I mean, COVID has already mutated once, while we've been dealing with all this. Yeah. And it's not going away anytime soon. Yeah. And there's going to be something else that's going to happen, and I don't want to call China out or anything like that, but it is kind of easy in the sense that they have these open air meat markets that have animal after animal after animal existing on top of each other in cages and all that kind of stuff, because they're a very, very industrial nation. Yeah, almost as industrial as America is.
If I feel like I'm right on this, I think I read it somewhere. Fact check me, please. But they passed laws in certain areas to where you can't eat dog anymore, dog meat.
Well, fantastic. You should
in China.
And not for moral reasons. I believe. Not for moral reasons. You should not eat dogs or cats because they are too close to us. There's also, you probably shouldn't eat pigs because they're way too close to us.
And they're pretty nasty.
High cholesterol.
But also, jumping back to, you bring up cats and dogs and them passing that, one fact that I never hit on is that there are, that I did read, I don't know why I didn't put it in on my notes, but there are at least 400,000 cats a year eaten in China.
Yeah,
sure. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild, bro. I think they passed laws, man, as of this COVID.
I mean, I say that's crazy, but I mean, I can say that until I'm blue in the face, but I wasn't, obviously that's a little taboo for the way that I was raised. And being a chef, I really can't say that.
Sure.
Because, you're taught to try everything at least once.
Yeah, try to do things with everything.
I love dogs and cats.
Right.
Exactly. And also, they have really a fair, like a festival that involves eating dogs over there in China. Yeah. Like it's a whole festival thing happens every year, and I think that's canceled. And like they're doing the law thing to like ban it. Look, but I mean, it's part of their culture, and like, love China, love y'all to death. Mm-hmm. My God, nothing against y'all.
Right, of course.
It's just different ways of life, different culture, and it's Western to Eastern.
But I think it's one of those things that's really important to remember or to think about is the fact that like certain practices, if they are a detriment to a society's health, then we should not be doing it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's just as simple as that, as far as I feel. I mean, personally, I name a meat out there, I've probably tried it. Like, to be Southern and
alligator, rabbit,
done it.
Squirrel,
rattlesnake,
done
it. Cricket, done it. I did them some bitches
fried
in chocolate.
Cricket, frog legs,
done it.
Shit, man. Hey,
fried cricket, boiled cricket,
alligator sausage,
cricket.
eating it,
alligator steaks.
Everything I mean to say is, if you want to eat some shit,
fucking eat it.
If you want to eat feces, eat feces, do not eat feces. Please don't do that.
Toxic.
2 girls, 1 cup. All right,
really, you're bringing that
we
up.
went there. Wow. Anyway,
that's old school news.
Old school.
At this point,
man, me and one of my homies actually showed that to my high school counselor.
Oh God.
That's right, you did. I remember that story.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was a good time. Shout out to my boy.
But anyways,
you know who you is. I ain't no name drop. You know who you is. And the council knows who she is. That shit was great. Anyway.
I think the really important thing to remember is to try and live a certain way that doesn't perpetuate these
situation
viruses that are happening that are
basically don't be a dumbass
becoming pandemics.
Yeah.
And for us,
protect yourself to protect other people.
That's relatively easy.
Literally,
for certain Chinese communities and everything like that, the way that they handle their meat and the different variants of animals that they decide to consume and everything like that, I'm not calling them out. I'm not saying that that's wrong, but their bloods should not mix.
No.
You know,
that's where it all starts, man.
You decide you want to eat some bat, fine, but don't let bat blood mix with chicken blood, mix with pig blood.
I'll say that to the wrong people now.
That's
right. And blood are not being mixed.
Yeah. But all that to be said, once this shit breaks out, it gets kind of scary, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Everybody gets scared, and we're all scared right now. And
of course. There's an innate fear in everybody right now.
There's this massive fear.
Or just worry.
There's this, there's this worry. And now, since it's been this long, there's this mix of cabin fever within this fear and worry of all these viruses that are happening.
Which completely exponentiates everyone's feelings.
Yeah.
To like the nth power.
And I think this is why
you start growing insane. You start going so like, I need to do something. I have to do something.
Well, and then, so you've been sitting in a house for 2.5, 3 months. You go to a peaceful protest. One person throws a rock and you're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
because it's that breaking point.
I'm active out here.
I mean, it's just.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly. Straight up, bro.
Exactly.
And it's something as small as that, and that's all it takes. But
like I said, I wish I was down there. I had to work, but I wish I was down there. If I was down there, I'd have went on some wild shit, bro.
Justin, I'm very glad that you weren't down there
because I'd have went on some wild shit. You already know me and how I get, bro. Like I'd have been on some fucking wild shit, bro.
I think it's important to speak out. I think it's important to have, and I'm speaking in the second degree in general. I think it's important to have your voice heard, whoever it is that you are, whatever marginalized community that you exist within.
Yeah,
please speak up.
Right.
Please make your voice be heard.
Your voice should be heard.
And as cliche as shit sounds, man, go fucking vote. I'm telling you, like,
please vote.
Getting your right people in office makes a difference. It's a long term fucking goal, but I mean, bro, like, it's vital. It's fucking vital. Like, I know people are like, what the fuck, my vote don't count. Like, they're doing bullshit anyway. But it's like, no, bro. Like, if we get the right people in offices, we get the right people in certain areas of the country that are fucked, it changes. It eventually will grow into something nice. You know what I mean? Like, it takes a longer time. Like, we want instant change. That's not going to happen. It's impossible for that to happen because this shit has been going on since before this fucking Civil Rights Act, bro. Like, this shit is still going on today the same way.
And
they just hide it more and they have it more tough.
Sad.
Like, and you know, all this misinformation, man, like, and disinformation that is happening right now is literally killing us, man. Like, it literally and figuratively, because the way that we perceive things and the way that we, see the media, see the news is one thing. But research, get your facts. Get your facts on everything before you even lash out or fucking get all savage. Get all your facts. Get all the facts that you can get about it before you go out demanding shit. Because that makes you way more pertinent to get change when you know facts and you can, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I feel about it.
If you are informed, people will take you more seriously.
Exactly.
Correct.
Exactly. You're not just speaking from opinions or how you feel about it.
You didn't just make all D's in high school.
Yeah. You're going off facts, bro. You're going off actual facts.
AKA piggy.
Yeah. Boom. There's that.
That is very true. And I think a very, very important thing to remember is it's hard to know the platform of anybody that's running for anything. Not too long ago, I 100% thought that my vote does not matter, right?
Yeah.
I'm just another little tiny
cog in the machine.
No, not even a cog in the machine. I'm a little fucking piece of sand.
I'm an
in
atom
the cogs, right?
in the machine.
I'm something a grain of sand. It's just the earth and the universe.
Might just potentially, hopefully, disrupt the cogs of the machine that are happening, right?
Yeah.
And then I started looking into it and realized that there are people on the local scale that I actually agree with, that I want to try and implement the things that I feel that are important, because I'm not the person that's going to go do that. I'm never, ever going to enter politics because I can't see myself doing that.
Yeah, of course, man.
But there are other people that agree with the things that I agree with that are going into politics.
Exactly.
And I think it's important for you to find that person and vote for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get the right people in office, and that's the long-term change to this. That is the systematic change.
Exactly.
Is getting the right people in office.
Yeah.
I know it sounds fucking bogus and
it does.
Blase.
But it is real.
It's real as it can it's real as a heart
Research
attack,
some
man.
shit. Find out a candidate that you agree with. Don't just listen to don't be a partyist.
Yeah.
Don't just look at something that's oh, Fox News told me because I'm a Republican, I should vote for dipshit number one.
Yeah,
Don't get your facts, like you said, get your facts straight. Choose who you want. Fuck a party.
Right.
Yeah.
Choose what makes sense to you, what's logical to you, what makes sense on a humanistic sense.
Yeah.
It's like
human vibe,
we
bro.
should care about each other. There's this race creed bullshit is getting out of fucking hand.
It's wild, man. And it's gonna
And
be.
we
might get into civil
we should
war
have
soon.
surpassed
It's
this
just wild.
like most of the other superpowers in this world years ago.
Yep. Well, what I want to say is thank you all for listening. This is the first episode of Friends, Facts, and Fiction.
Number one.
First episode. And if you fucks with it, let us know. If you dig it, let us know. If we were wrong on some things, please let us know.
Please let us know.
Please critique us. We love you all. We thank you all. And we hope you're safe out there. We hope that you are safe from all this craziness. And if you're part of the craziness, please be safe. And if you're going to ride and protest, wear a mask, my guy. Your identity is going to be out there on cameras.
True.
Anyway, I would like to thank everybody. What I want to say is live life, because it's worth living, peoples.
That's right. And everybody out there, I never liked you. I always loved you.
Boom.
And I'll sign off by saying, be kind, stay informed, and make a difference.
Boom. There it is. Friends, Facts, and Fiction. We out.
Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for the next episode. Find us on Facebook and Instagram to stay up to date on everything Friends, Facts, and Fiction. Our Instagram handle is friends_facts_fiction. As always, please reach out to us. You can send any of your questions, praise, and fact-checking to friends_facts_fiction@gmail.com. It's important to us to only propagate the truth, and we will correct any errors we may have made. This has been a production of Friends, Facts, and Fiction.